Hello again, and for this week's look at a relic and rarities, we've both ready. We welcome back Scott Reeves as Registrar of Humanities at the Otago Museum with some extraordinary weaponry. Again, it's white glove time because these are very old. Welcome back, Scott. Thanks very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Now, samurai swords, or these rather small samurai swords.
These are rather small samurai swords. I thought I'd bring these along today because we've got a Japanese-themed exhibition on at the moment. Nice little tie, and no swords in it, but these are something special. These are called wakizashi. They're the smallest of the pair of swords that a samurai would wear, usually sort of thrust into his kimono, worn with the blade facing upwards.
There was a story about them that the samurai would leave the bigger sword, the larger sword, at the door and take the smaller, this one, inside and lay it beside the host. That's
correct, yeah. And these were worn as everyday swords, really. As a result, they tend to be, as you do.
You can't be a samurai if you haven't got your sword on.
That's right. As a result, they tend to be a little bit more highly decorated than the katana or the longer swords as well.
Well, what I think is so interesting about these swords is that they're made up. A whole lot of people are involved in the manufacture of swords like this, aren't they?
That's right.
It's not just one craftsman, it's many.
That's right. The blade itself could take up to 3 to 5 months to make, and that's one craftsman making that. And that's absolutely that's the heart of the sword, really. And you'd have a variety of fittings that you'd put on the sword, each made by different craftsmen and different families of craftsmen.
So the blade is laminated.
The blade is some of them up to 50,000 folds of metal in them.
Really? Does it make it stronger? What happens?
It does. Unlike European swords where the whole thing's tempered, the Japanese sword, if we can have a look at the temper line on the blade, is tempered most strongly across the blade through here, which tends to make them more brittle. But because the rest of the sword remains quite soft, it'll absorb the blows. Makes it
a very sharp edge. Now, there would be a specialist sharpener.
That's correct.
There was a specialist blade maker, and he would sign his blade.
He would sign his
blade. And this one is signed. Is it this? How old is this, by the way?
This one here is from 1448. If you flip it over there, Dougal, you'll see the...
Right, I'll just watch I don't cut my fingers.
Sure.
Can we see anything, do you think? Just, there it is. There's the maker's mark.
That's Norimitsu.
Was he a famous sword maker?
Reasonably famous. If you Google him, you'll see a few other swords made by him around the place. So,
Lord.
Yeah.
Back in the 15th century.
That's correct, yes.
And the tsuba, am I allowed to take that off?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is another craft. Oh, now I've done something.
No, you're right.
I've just wrecked irreparably some 600 years old. That's me done. The tsuba, the hilt sort of piece.
That's correct, yeah. And they were collected a lot by Victorian collectors. Each one is a work of art in its own right, really.
Of course. Does that mean that they actually poked the swords up just to collect the tsubas, or they just came by them?
They just came by them. I presume that you'd have a variety of tsuba for your sword as well. There tends to be more fittings out there than there are sword blades.
Oh, really? So it may be that for certain ceremonies you put a different tsuba on.
That's right, yeah, from your very everyday sort of sword.
I asked you what's on your tsuba today.
Yeah, that's right.
What sort of occasion is it, yeah? Now the other one, this one here. Can we put this one up? You got time?
No, absolutely.
This has got an entirely different sheath. Is that what you call it, or scabbard?
Yeah, saya is the Japanese term. Yeah.
Ah. And this one seems to be sort of leather finished, or?
Yeah, it is. It's lacquered. And the matte finish has been built up on top, so it's almost like a reverse relief or something like that.
So and this is another craft involved.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a completely different craftsman. The sword would be finished, the blade would be finished, and it would be sent to the saya maker to have its scabbard made.
Gracious me, I'm surprised, these days to do something like this you'd probably need resource consent, wouldn't you, with all these people involved. Now, elaborate stands were made for them as well.
That's correct.
And that's yet another craft.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does the museum have any of these?
No, we don't have any of the stands. We tend to use our own mount makers to display them, but no stands at all. We have a few suits of armour in the collection.
That's to be samurai armour, or Japanese armour.
Yeah.
With quite distinctive. So now, tell me very briefly now how the museum came by such extraordinary weaponry.
This one that we've got disassembled came via Willie Fowles again, one of our main benefactors.
Yes, you've spoken of him before, haven't you?
The sword that you were just handling before was purchased by the Friends of the Museum from a chap called C.W. Chamberlain, and this one in front of me here was also a friend's purchase.
So there it is.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you very much for bringing them in. It's a fascinating area, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You've got a very good job, haven't you? You must love it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, next week, Contact details, first of all, Channel 9, PO Box 517 Dunedin, dd@ch9.co.nz. And then next week, I should go this way. Too much TV making us fat, lazy and short on attention. Now there's evidence to prove that that's what we've long suspected. Professor Richie Poulton talks us through the latest findings from the multidisciplinary unit. Even the shortest attention span will delight in Natalie Poland, taking us through treasures from the Hocken collection. She'll be doing that. And our book reviewer, Vanda Simon, will be along with some more local reads. And, of course, there's always more. But before we go, performances to relish at the Regent. On Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, Cinderella, performed by the Royal New Zealand Ballet. Here's some footage from the rehearsals. Take a look. You'll love it.